Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Jessica Raven and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be answering a question I get very frequently, which is what is the difference between a PhD and a PsyD? So I'm going to quickly go through the differences and similarities of both, but know that this is just going to be an overview of general differences, and each program is different. So whatever programs you're applying to, look at them, look at their criteria, qualifications, and things like that. So in both PhD and PsyD programs, you will get both research and clinical experience. However, generally speaking, PhD programs have a stronger emphasis on research and teaching experience, whereas PsyDs have more of an emphasis on the application of scientific knowledge to clinical services. So thus, if you really want to do research or you want to go into a more academic psychology role, whether that's like a research position or teaching at a university, a PhD may be better suited for you. However, if you know that you only want to do clinical work, so you only want to do therapy, assessment, or consultation, and you aren't very interested in research, a PsyD might be better suited for you. I have seen some professors teach with a PsyD, but generally speaking, it is less common to go into academia with a PsyD than a PhD. Both PhDs and PsyDs have similar admissions requirements, so a bachelor's or master's in psychology or a related field, a solid GPA, solid GRE scores, letters of recommendation, you have to write essays, and interviews are required. So that does not differ between the two. Additionally, both PhD programs and PsyD programs require a year-long clinical internship during your last year as the final thing you have to complete before graduating. Additionally, after successfully completing either a PhD or a PsyD, you will have to pass the EPPP, which is the national licensing exam, and then meet the requirements for licensure in your state to become a licensed psychologist. So either a PhD, so that's a doctorate in philosophy, or a PsyD, a doctorate in psychology, can get you to become a licensed psychologist. So when we think about the differences, there are a few other than just what I mentioned earlier about PhDs generally being more research and teaching focused and PsyDs being more clinically focused. So PhD programs have an average acceptance rate of 10 to 15%, whereas PsyD programs have an average acceptance rate of 40%. So still both are highly competitive, but PhD programs tend to have lower acceptance rate. Part of this is due to the fact that PhD programs tend to be smaller. So for example, my cohort in my clinical psychology PhD program was 6 people. PsyD cohorts, in contrast, tend to be larger. Some may have up to 100 people, but I've seen a lot of programs with class sizes around like 20 to 25 or others around 50. So once again, it just really depends on the program. Similarly, PhD programs will have larger class sizes, but on average, I would say like the largest is 10 per cohort. On average, a PhD program takes from 5 to 7 years, whereas a PsyD program is a little shorter at 4 to 6 years. So regardless of the program, you're still in school for a pretty long time. PhD programs do require a dissertation, where PsyDs will require either a dissertation or an equivalent project, so it might not be your own unique research, for example. Another big difference is the funding. So PhD programs are generally funded, meaning that the tuition is waived in exchange for a teaching assistant's position or a research assistant position. PsyDs often are not funded, although some will provide stipends. So that is something to consider, especially if you don't really have a strong preference of your desire for research or clinical work, if money and funding and loans is something that's really important to you in making your decision. So ultimately, which one you decide to pursue depends on what your interests are, whether you are solely focused or interested in clinical work, or you really are interested in research or want a mix of both, as well as what your career goals are. So this was a very quick video, but I hope this helped clarify some of the differences. Like I said at the beginning, it will be all program dependent though. So if you are looking into different programs, look at the program specific criteria, admissions criteria, research focus, etc. And if you are watching this because you are looking into pursuing a doctorate in psychology, I wish you the best of luck.